Good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome in to Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us today. We're very excited to be with you for the next 3 hours on another beautiful day here in East Tennessee. We have NCAA tournament games tonight. Play-in round games tonight and tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. We get all of the first round action with the Tennessee Vols slated to play on Friday afternoon against the winner of SMU and Miami, Ohio. They will play tomorrow. NC State versus Texas, one of the playing games to watch tonight. So we'll talk some hoops. We'll talk more football as Tennessee practiced again today. 2 spring practices now in the books for Tennessee. We'll invite you to join us today. You can call or text 865-656-9900 if you would like to join us. Thoughts on the NCAA tournament, thoughts on the start of spring practice, any questions you might have. Hit us up at 865-656-9900. Quick programming note. Typically, we hop on the sleigh ride each Tuesday afternoon. We are bumping that to tomorrow. Ron is in travel mode today with some of the ESPN work he's had this week. So we will have the sleigh ride tomorrow from 1 until 2 o'clock. We'll see what he thinks about the NCAA tournament as we talk to Ron each week during the basketball season, thanks to Dead End Barbecue. So 1 o'clock, same time tomorrow, the sleigh ride with Ron Slay. At 1 o'clock today, we'll talk to Braden Gall, 440 Sports. We'll talk some football with him. So, Jason Swain, I say good afternoon. A lot to talk about over the next 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Ron Slay representing on ESPN with the national crew, breaking down the NCAA tournament bracket. So, looking forward to talking to him. Man, it's about that time. March Madness is officially here. It was here for over the last couple of days with conference play, but now you lose, it's over. There's no redo. There's no second chances. There's no what about next time. There's no, oh, let's fix it one last time. This is it, and it's one of the best times of the year, my friend.
NC State, Texas should be a good one tonight. You know, Texas with its first-year coach in Sean Miller, and then same for NC State with Will Wade.
I don't think there's a school in a sport that confuses me more than Texas basketball, why they're not better than they are.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about the resources, when you think about the talent inside of that state, it's crazy to think that they're playing in the first 4. It's crazy to think they haven't been able to hire a coach after Rick Barnes. And Rick Barnes is approaching a decade here at Tennessee. It's unbelievable. Like Indiana basketball, they've been struggling for a long time. But we're talking Texas. And I know Indiana basketball is historically blue blood and you know, they care more about basketball in that state than any other sport. But you can fit Indiana inside of the state of Texas a couple times. They can be good at anything they want to be good at with the talent and the resources down there. But, yeah, man, Texas, first 4 tonight, it's just weird. And there's no guarantee that they're going to win this thing.
Yeah, they have largely disappointed in a major way since they let go of Rick Barnes. I thought Chris Beard was a really good hire and was going to do really well there, but that went south in a hurry. For off-court reasons. And we'll see with Sean Miller. He's had a lot of success in the past. It's his first season there, but they should bring in big-time talent every year, and that's through recruiting in the transfer portal.
Well, their best player is a guy named Swain, so no surprise there. He's a baller. But other than that, man, Texas hasn't been all that great this year.
No, you can only ask so much of a Swain. I think that's fair to say.
Us Swains, we can't do it all, man. We can't do it all. We need a little bit of help around us.
Hey, does this help lift your optimism ahead of the NCAA tournament? Andy Katz yesterday put out his dark horse Final 4. So 4 teams, 1 team from each region to pay attention to. Wisconsin, UCLA, Vanderbilt, Tennessee.
I'm not falling for it, Josh.
Okay.
I would be lying if I told you I don't get giddy when the national media speaks highly of Tennessee, and I see that power T on the graphic. I love it. I'd never get enough of it. But this is not my first rodeo of watching Tennessee have an opportunity to do something special in the tournament over the last couple of years, thanks to Rick Barnes and his staff and what they've been able to do. This team is not like last year's team. This team is not like the year before's team. And we've seen these national media guys at this stage of the season pick Tennessee to go deep in the tournament, pick Tennessee to go to the Final Four. We've seen it before. This is different, Josh. And we all may be surprised. We saw what happened in 2014 with Conzo Martin's team when no one thought that they would do anything. So it could happen. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not getting my hopes up. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not buying it. I'm not falling for it. I will need to see something different in the tournament than I've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks for my basketball team. That's what it's going to take for Andy Katz to be right. But I'm happy we're here. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, you think about the consecutive tournament appearances. Tennessee is one of those schools, my man. Rick Barnes, love what he's doing. Love the impact he's had on our athletic program, our university, our community. I love his program. I love the players he brings in. I love them. I tune in to Tennessee basketball. It doesn't matter what I got going on. I'm turning on the phone. I'm asking somebody to turn the game on. They're must-see TV. This season's team is missing a lot. And so I can't get myself in the mode of this team making a run to the Final Four. I don't see it, my man. I just don't.
Yeah, longest active NCAA tournament streaks. Kansas is way out in front, 36. Pretty incredible. Michigan State, 28. I'd say the same there. Gonzaga, 27. Purdue, 11. Those are the only schools with longer active streaks than Tennessee. Tennessee and Houston are at 8 apiece.
I love it. I love it. There's some teams right now that they've had more success than Tennessee in the last 10, 15, 20 years. But they're at home right now. They're getting ready for the NIT, or they're not playing in NIT. So I love what we are as a program, and we'll reload again next year. Rick Barnes will have his pick. He'll be able to use Dalton Connect and Kevin Durant and Grant Williams and Chaz O'Neal and all these players he's helped get to the next level and have success. He'll be able to use them to get the next great player. And we'll have funds because immense money is coming off the books, and Jacoby Gillespie's money is going to come off the books. And so we'll reload, my man, and we'll do it again here in a couple months when it's football season and we're excited about the start of basketball season. At least I know I will, because I know that we'll have one of the best teams in the SEC. We'll compete at a high level, and we'll have a chance to make a run again. Like, that's what I know. That's what you can expect with the Rick Barnes program at this point at Tennessee. Write it down. Book it.
First 2 texts that come in, love Rick Barnes, but the roster needs to be put together better. I'm sure he'll look at ways to improve or what they missed on. By the way, they tried to go out and get some other scoring options on the perimeter and missed on a couple of targets. They brought in Nate Ament, who was a scoring threat. Mari Abram didn't provide, I think, the impact they hoped he would this season. So, yeah, agree with that. Another text, I don't have Tennessee past the first weekend. They might not.
Well, it depends on what kind of bracket you filling out. You filling out your emotional bracket? You filling out your fan bracket? Or you filling out your bracket where you got money on it? If you got that other bracket where you got some cash on there, you got a bill that you're going to pay, but you know what? I'm gonna put this on the bracket. See if I can double my money. You ain't gonna put Tennessee going to the Elite Eight or the Final Four on that bracket. On your emotional bracket, your fan bracket, you might, but the bracket where you get money back and that you've put money into a pool, you probably not going to put Tennessee going that far. And that's okay because Tennessee hasn't played like they're capable of doing that lately. But they have played like they're capable of doing it during points of the season when they beat Houston, when they competed against Alabama on the road. Like at times, they've had flashes where they look like a elite eight team, but they got to get back to playing that way. And for a lot of people, they need to believe it. They need to see it before they believe it, and that's okay.
How about this? Much respect for Swain. He keeps it 100 and honest. Much respect from Georgia Bulldogs fan Frank. I don't think we've heard from Frank in a little while.
What's up, Frank?
So there you go. Bulldog fan Frank.
What's up,
He's
Frank?
got your back.
Well, I just you know, just try to be honest. I think our listeners deserve that.
That's what we try to do here
Yeah.
on the show. 865-656-9900. As Shannon says, if we make it to the Final Four, Nate is now a top 1 or 2 pick. I don't know that he would make that kind of jump, but I'm guessing that would include a strong Nate Ament run, which would only help his draft stock.
Yeah.
If Tennessee gets to the Final Four, it's probably not happening without Nate playing really well.
Yeah, he has to play great, no doubt about it. But I think AJ DeBonza is going to be either 1 or 2. You got to look at Peterson at Kansas. I mean, his stock has fallen because of nothing to do with his basketball skills and what he can do, but just the leadership qualities, the missing games. A lot of questions surrounding him there. There's Acuff, Cam Boozer. Like there's some guys that it doesn't matter how great Nate Ament plays in the tournament. They're probably going to be drafted ahead of Nate Ament, but Nate can knock on that 5th to 6th pick for sure with a great performance. Maybe even a 4th pick with a great performance in the NCAA tournament. And I think it's going to take for him to play well. The stretch where he was averaging 20 points per game, had a couple where he touched 29, touched 30. Like he might have to play that way in certain cases, depending on the game and the matchup.
This is a terrific freshman class. We've talked about that a lot this season. Nate is a part of that terrific freshman class. That's part of the intrigue of this tournament because several of those guys will have a chance to make an impact over the next couple of weeks. Nate's going to try to do that for Tennessee. Getting ready for Friday's game against the winner of SMU and Miami, Ohio. They will play tomorrow night. We'll come back. We invite more of your calls and texts at 865-656-9900 as we'll talk Tennessee hoops. We'll talk Tennessee football as the Vols practiced again earlier today. We'll talk with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are presented by Junk Be Gone, East Tennessee's junk removal specialist, on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us on this Tuesday afternoon. Swain also got a text from Tyler. Swain has all my respect. You get fans of other schools to back you. You were doing it right. That's RT Tyler.
Thank you, sir.
Had a good call from Tyler yesterday.
Had a real good call. Tyler was pretty spot on. Yeah, Tyler has those good days from time to time.
See, Swain will give credit where it's due as well, when it's due.
No, Tyler's good, man. Tyler is what is good about college sports, for sure.
That's right. We appreciate you, Tyler. We appreciate you being with us today and always look forward to the interaction with everybody. 865-656-9900. Swain fans have been looking forward to a quarterback competition, which is ongoing. And the quarterbacks met with the media earlier today, just a little bit before we went on the air. And George McIntyre said he just wanted a chance to compete. He knew they were going after other quarterbacks in the transfer portal. There was also the possibility that Joey Aguilar could return. That ended up not happening. But said he wanted a chance to compete. As long as he was going to have that, he was going to be here. And obviously he has that. And one other note on George McIntyre, there's I think internally and externally, the daily question of where's George McIntyre's weight. And he recently hit 202 on the scales and said that the goal is for him to get to 210 before the start of the season. He arrived at Tennessee a little more than a year ago at 182 pounds. So since then, he's put on about 20 pounds, and the goal is to put on another 8 pounds or so before the start of the season.
You know what, Josh? The last thing I want to hear is some kid talking about he's struggling or not, he didn't say he's struggling, but his goal is to gain 8 pounds in 4 months or so. I don't want to hear that. You know, there's people
I'm guessing most of our audience is not interested in the challenge of putting on 8 pounds in 4 months.
You know, there's people listening right now that put on 8 pounds last week. I'm like, we don't want to hear that. Spring break was going on. People went out of town having a good time. They probably put on 8 pounds last week, man. We don't want to hear that. No, I mean, obviously there's a allergy that he's had to fight. So they've had to tailor his diet and making sure that he's putting on good weight. And I know from his conversations with AwesomePriceWalkWest.com, it's not a lack of effort of why he's not gaining weight, but they're going to have to figure it out and get him to a place where he is at least able to get up after a big hit. And that's what this is all about. Because him gaining weight has nothing to do with his ability to read a defense, his ability to throw guys open and not turn the ball over. The offensive line, they'll have to do a really good job of protecting him, and he'll have to do a good job of understanding when to get down, when to get out of bounds, and when to take hits and when not to take hits. But the purpose of this part of the offseason is to increase flexibility, increase strength, and decrease your chances of getting hurt. And you do that by getting stronger, by becoming more flexible, and you just hope that he's able to put on that weight and playing the position of quarterback, Josh, like it's the hardest position to get on the field because there's only one guy playing quarterback. And so he has a perfect opportunity here. He's been here longer than anybody else on this team in that quarterback room. And now it's up to him to go out there and put his best foot forward every day and lead and be a guy that people want to follow. And you be that by caring about others, investing in others, making sure everybody else is good. When you do that, they'll follow you. And playing the position of quarterback is more than just throwing the ball and handing it off. It's about being a leader. And so, hopefully he can do that. And if he does, he takes care of the ball and does a good job putting the ball where it needs to be. He'll be in a good position this fall to be the starting quarterback.
Faison Brandon comes in as a highly touted, very talented quarterback. So George McIntyre, with the update on his weight, he said he weighed in at 202. That tells you about the challenge of it. If he gains a pound, it is noteworthy. But he's 6'6", 202. Faison Brandon listed by UT 6'4", 215. A lot of it for Faison is the mental aspect. That was one of the first things that Josh Heupel talked about, which we'll hear a little bit later, but was the mental aspect. George is ahead because he's been here for more than a year. Faison's been on campus for a few months and is going through his first spring, of course, as an early enrollee. But physically, he has all kinds of talent. He talked today about his ability to throw the football. Of course, he can use his legs, but wants to make it clear he can throw the football, and boy, can he.
Well, quarterbacks who can run always want to make it clear to those people that they're not just a running quarterback. They are a dual threat. And dual threat doesn't mean that I can run better than I can throw. No. That means I can throw it, but if I need to beat you with my legs, I can do that too. And so those dual threat quarterbacks have to fight that narrative all the time. And he'll have to fight that until he starts making plays with his arm consistently, and that's only a matter of time. I mean, the only reason why he's getting these questions now is because he hasn't played yet in the games. But once he plays and once people see that, then they'll understand that he's a pocket first quarterback who can run when he needs to. For Faison, his challenges are different than George's, and everybody has a challenge, just like everybody has their own personal challenges in their life, right? They're all fighting individual battles. We all are. Well, players, they're fighting their own battles too, just in a different way. And this offseason, everyone has a challenge of taking the weakness of their game and making it into strength and improving on it. George's challenge is to gain weight and be durable. Faison's challenge is going to be to learn the offense, to put the ball where it needs to be, to understand what it takes to be a college athlete and quarterback and make that transition from high school to college. Like, everybody has a challenge. And so it just looks different for those two guys. And whoever can handle their challenge the best will be in a good spot to be the starting quarterback.
Multiple texts in the text box confirming they would have little trouble putting on 8 pounds if needed. So happy to pass along some advice to George McIntyre.
Yeah.
Stan suggested that George go over to Dead End Barbecue and get a nice meal, put it on Swain's tab.
Hey, I'm willing to pay for George's meal, even though George has more money than me. So
Yeah, to be clear, George can afford whatever he needs to get for himself. Swain will treat George to a nice meal if that'll help the cause this fall.
I got you. Pimento mac and cheese, some burnt ends, little sausage beans, and some nanner pudding, and some peanut butter pie.
There you go.
Yeah, we got you, George. We can put on some weight.
Yeah, see, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe you can give him some advice, Josh. It's not like you walking around here, needing suspenders because your pants is hanging off your backside. You pretty small fella too. Maybe you can give him some advice. Maybe he can give you some advice. Who knows? Maybe y'all need to hang out.
Yeah, I know that nobody wants to hear about 20-year-old or whatever George McIntyre having trouble putting on weight. They definitely don't want to hear about 40-year-old Josh Ward having a difficult time putting on weight. So I'll keep that to myself.
I understand.
Also, your menu, you might want to put that across the table real quick, because if it goes to Derek Owings, he might be slashing some of those items. I don't know that he's going to approve all those food choices.
I think the burnt ends he'll roll with, because I mean that's a good old protein, right?
Yeah.
Mac and cheese, I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. But I care more about George's play in between the white lines than the number on the scale.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to determine whether or not he's going to start, play, and help Tennessee win games. Like, the weight stuff is bonus, and I'm not going to let that dominate our conversations and the narrative, because like that's not what's important. What's important is him playing at a high level. That's what's important, and put the ball where it needs to be.
That's right. Also, by the way, Stan suggested that those texts earlier from an Alabama fan and a Georgia fan that were singing your praises, saying they like that you call it like you see it, that's just because they like to hear about Tennessee's issues.
Well, I did think about that, but I think we've gotten some love from that Georgia fan before, and
Who did Frank hate on? Was it Zakai?
yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
But he came by one day and showed some love. So Stan may not be wrong. I'm sure they do enjoy hearing about Tennessee's issues, but I think can also respect you at the same time.
yeah, correct. And then Tyler, we've had an awesome relationship the last couple of years, and Tennessee's beaten Alabama twice, so nothing has changed there. So I think we're good. But hey, rivals should like it when Tennessee is having issues. That's the way it's supposed to be, because I'm over here having a ball watching Auburn basketball go through their struggles. I love it. It's great.
You also have the Aiden Holloway situation at Alabama, Swain.
Yeah, that's different though. I'm gonna like him when they lose because he's not gonna play anymore. I guess they.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't like this for Aiden. I don't know what's going to end up happening there legally. That's not a good look there. They found a little over 2 pounds of marijuana. We found out in his apartment after court records were revealed. But Alabama is a team I thought, hey, they could go on a run here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the Final Four. I guess they still could do that, but I would be more surprised now without Aiden Holloway. He is not with the team. He will not be with the team this weekend, and my guess is he will not be with the team at any point in the tournament.
Aiden told the officers that was his to only consume 2 pounds. Aiden, who you think you're fooling? And they found it in different, like they found it in suitcases and backpacks. What? Why? Where are you taking it?
People can't buy in bulk anymore?
You can. I mean, hey, ain't nothing wrong with a good old Costco trip. I love me a good Costco trip.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I just bought some paper towels the other day. I love a good Costco trip, but
Yeah.
I'm not stashing the paper towels in different parts of my house, Josh. It's in one place. It's in one place. So when I use it, it's all together. Like I'm not putting it in my suitcase, putting it in one room, putting it in a different room. It's all in one place, man.
That's a good point. Yep. Might have been a different reason for Aiden there. So not a good situation for him. We'll see what it means for Alabama as they get ready for Hofstra in the first round and then likely Texas Tech in round number 2, of course, if Alabama gets by Hofstra. We'll come back, 865-656-9900. We appreciate the interaction to start the show today. 30 minutes in, 2.5 hours to go. A lot to talk about. 865-656-9900 as we continue on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Presented by Junk Beyond, East Tennessee's junk removal specialists. Dave said, yes, we love Tennessee issues. Go Cats.
What Cats we talking about? I know we ain't talking about Kentucky.
That's my thought here, Swain.
Because you got your own issues. Just because you beat us twice in basketball don't mean anything.
Did you see the Oklahoma City Thunder video that they posted? They posted a video where they asked almost all of their players coming out, walking to the team bus, who's going to win the NCAA tournament. And all the guys, they're just saying their school. A few of them didn't play at schools that are in the tournament, but like Alex Caruso, he said Texas A&M because he played at Texas A&M. They have two players that played at Kentucky, Kason Wallace and SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wallace said Arkansas. And SGA said Arkansas or Kentucky. Every other player that has a school in the tournament said their school's going to win it.
That's because they love Kyle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm a Kentucky fan, that's got me feeling a really weird way because Cal is now succeeding at Arkansas. Kentucky is behind Arkansas, and these players that you pulled for and watched at your school, they're at least split, it appears, on whether they are rooting for their own school that they played for or their former coach.
Well, those Kentucky fans thought that players wanted to come to Kentucky just because of the prestige. That's
They thought.
They thought that was a leading reason. No, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. The reason why they went to Kentucky is because of Coach Cal. And now those players are going to Arkansas. So they're in a tough spot because now you got to overpay for players because Mark Pope doesn't have the rep that Calipari has. And then don't get me started on the report from the Michigan player was asked about how much he was offered from Kentucky, which I don't really believe. I don't believe the number that he threw out there. Yaxel.
Yeah, I think something's being exaggerated there, especially when he says he would have gotten 3 times the amount at Duke that he got at Michigan.
Yeah, transfer from UAB. He said that Kentucky offered him $7 to $9 million before he decided to go to Michigan. I'm not calling him a liar. I'm just telling you, it's hard for me to believe that.
Yeah, I bet it was more, but I feel like something's being either exaggerated or there's some details being left out.
$7 to $9 million. Number one, it makes me wonder how much he got in Michigan, and number two, why'd you turn that down? I mean, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, I'll be honest. In that situation, if the story that's being told is true, I'm a Wildcat. Okay, I'll see you in Lexington.
He's gonna make a lot of money here, playing basketball after college, anyways. And
right.
Maybe he said, "Hey, being somewhere where I can be happy and win, I'll make it on the back end." And if that's the case, kudos to him. But I'm just letting you know, it's hard for me to believe that he turned down $7 to $9 million if it was for one season. Now, if it was like a 2-year deal, something like that, okay. He didn't mention those details. He just said that he turned down $7 to $9 million. Interview with the Associated Press.
So we'll see how it goes for Kentucky in the tournament. They are in the same region as Tennessee. There is the potential, unlikely, but the potential for another Sweet 16 matchup as we saw a year ago. As Kentucky is the 7 seed taking on Santa Clara. Kentucky better be careful because I'm not sure they're getting out of the first round. And then Tennessee is there on the other side of the bracket.
Josh.
Yes, sir.
It ain't the fact that he turned down $7 to $9 million. It's the fact that Kentucky, a blue blood program, even offered that. And then he turned it down. Like, you're not supposed to be offering that if you are freaking Kentucky. People come to your school because they have the privilege to wear the uniform. That's
right? Kentucky should be able to get players at a discount. Georgia, one
correct.
reason it's been able to succeed with Kirby Smart to continue on, I know they haven't won a national championship in a couple of years, but they've been great, is they're able to recruit at a discount because
Yeah,
players still want to go there for the program. Kentucky's having to go the other direction, it appears.
man, man, oh man. So back to the original point. I know a Kentucky fan ain't trying to come over here and give me crap. Those 2 wins in the regular season is not enough for the butt kicking that we've been giving y'all over the last couple of years in all the sports.
Yeah, that's how we get down this Kentucky road. Dave's text, we love Tennessee issues, go Cats. Jackie said it's crazy these players are making the same or more than coaches.
That's true.
I mean, the highest paid players on teams are making more than pretty much all assistant coaches. Head coaches at the highest level are still making more,
Yeah.
all their players. But yeah, that obviously the gap has closed. And yeah, you have your head coaches in football and basketball. And then after that, you have your highest paid athletes. That's the order of pay now at the major universities.
Yeah. I mean, it's like professional sports. I mean, your top players, your best players are making the most, and they're not too far away from the coaches. So when I hear that, like, it doesn't shock me or surprise me because I've already accepted the fact that this is professional sports in every way. It's professional sports.
Yep. We'll continue the conversation. A little bit later, you'll hear something Hunter Dickinson said, by the
Oh,
way,
man.
that ties into all of this from his time at Kansas. He left Michigan, went to Kansas, got a bigger payday there at Kansas. He put up stats. It didn't go great for Kansas basketball, though. You want to hear what he had to say. We'll continue the conversation, 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. Thanks for being with us as we continue on Josh and Swain. Back on Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Braden Gall talking some football. We'll talk college football with him in about 10 minutes from 440 Sports. Final few minutes of hour number one. Swain, we had a question earlier. We are talking about George McIntyre. He said he's up to 202 pounds. Goal is to be at 210 for the start of the season. Andy asked, how much did Nico weigh when he started the Iowa bowl game? He was listed that season at 6'6", 206. And for the 2024 season, so the 1 year that Nico was the starter, he was listed 6'6", 215. George is 6'6", 202 right now officially.
And Nico got banged up in his freshman year when he went in some of those blowout wins. And I thought we did a pretty good job of kind of keeping it to ourselves. I mean, that's kind of been, the thing that a lot of coaches do, keeping injuries in-house as much as possible. And, we made fun of, the whole interview process last year with Josh Heupel when he's asked about injuries. And, he told folks, hey, you'll find out, Wednesday, the availability report. So,
yeah,
Nico was banged up more than people really knew his freshman year. And then he got stronger in that offseason going into 2024 and did a pretty good job of staying healthy and taking hits and being able to get up. He did have the concussion, which could happen to anybody, regardless of how much you weigh when you hit your head against the turf. So, yeah, I mean, Nico was skinny, but Nico was agile and was able to outrun tackling angles, was able to cut on a dime and avoid getting really hit. A talent and skill that Joshua Dobbs had when he was here too. And so it's one thing to be stronger and bigger. It's another thing to have the skill to not let yourself get hit hard. Because the hit against Alabama, Joey didn't do a good job of avoiding getting squared up and hit right in the middle of his chest. And that's what happened. So if you're a ball carrier, you got to do a good job of not just avoiding tackles, but avoiding those big hits too.
Yeah, if you expose yourself to big hits as opposed to finding the right angles to protect yourself, then that can be very costly.
Yeah. But, hey, he's a young player, and he's growing. He's developing. This is all part of it. Everybody got something to work on as a young player.
Yep, for sure. So the quarterback battle continues. The quarterbacks, Faison Brandon, George McIntyre, and Ryan Staub. Joey Halsley as well, quarterbacks coach, met with the media earlier today. We have 2 hours to go. A member of the media, Braden Gall of 440 Sports, will join us to begin hour number 2. We'll talk more Tennessee football and hoops as the afternoon goes along. 865-656-9900 if you would like to connect with us as we continue the show presented by Junk Be Gone right here on Josh and Swain. Welcome into hour number 2 of Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us today alongside Jason Swain, a VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. We're presented by Junk Begone, East Tennessee's junk removal specialist, online at junkbegone.biz. We begin the hour going to the Stanley Fencing and Gates hotline. Say hello to Braden Gall of 440 Sports. Braden, we appreciate the time as always. We're going to dive into some football here, but it's NCAA tournament time. You have everything going on with football and everything that 440 Sports is covering. Do you dive into much college basketball during the season? Do you wait until March when it's tournament time? How do you get into it these days?
So one of the joys of being older, but also running your own business where you have to prioritize the things that your audience cares about. You have to prioritize the things that your business does well in particular and wants to do well. And that is Titans football, Nashville Predators hockey, a little bit of Nashville SC, a little bit of SEC football, lots of news around the city as it pertains to other things outside of sports. And so we do a lot of things. And so long story short, like I'm not watching NBA, like as an older person, I used to watch NBA games all the time. I love the Knicks, grew up watching the Knicks, watched the Grizzlies a lot growing up too, watched a ton of Major League Baseball. I'm a Mets fan. Watched a ton of that stuff, and I used to cover college basketball. All that stuff, like, is just gone out of my diet. I am trying to dig deep into Jeremiah Love at number 4, and I'm trying to gain any insight I can from inside the Titans facility about whether or not they like Ruben Bain because he's got a thick lower body, or David Bailey because he's more explosive off the edge. Like, that's what happens when you sort of shift beats and you start covering an NFL team. And but I will say it makes it a lot less stressful. Like I'm basically a college baseball fan for every other sport now, right? Like I can just like parachute in during the SEC tournament, maybe during the NCAA tournament, and watch the playoffs. Like I can just watch. It's like spring sports. I can watch the majors in golf. I can watch the best races in NASCAR. I can watch the playoffs in the NBA. Like it's just, it removes all the stress. So like, I'm excited about watching the tournament, but like, I couldn't tell you, like, I don't know if Miami of Ohio belonged in the tournament or not. Like, I have no idea.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So I know you follow what Greg Sankey is saying. I know you follow that.
Yeah. He's got words.
What has been your reaction to, hearing Greg Sankey talk about, the current state of college football, the playoff situation, what he would like to see, where we are currently, kind of just your overall thoughts on what he's been saying last couple of days?
I don't think, like, for a long time I felt like the threats of a breakaway were largely just threats. The problem is that every time I think about, and I think they actually are, in his heart of hearts, he wants there to be a healthy and large-scale college football operation that is beneficial for all programs and teams, that is a national sport, because that is what's going to be best for the product, for the sport, and for the game, and for the athletes. That's what's going to make everybody the most money. It's going to deliver the best games. It's going to make all of us the most excited as fans. And so I think he believes that. I think personally. But the more and more you think through, and I'm not talking about all the other nonsense in 2020, but if you just think about what the week in, week out schedule was like for 2020, where it was exclusively SEC on SEC action all the time. And because the league has gotten bigger, you could look at an event that is an all SEC thing, and I really do believe that a lot of SEC fans would probably be fine with it. Is it our first choice? I don't think so. Is it what's best for the sport? No. There's a lot of negatives. But like, if you told SEC football fans in 16 different towns that they're going to play each other the entire season, you're going to play 12 SEC games, and then you're going to play whatever the format you can imagine, right? You can imagine a bunch of different formats. And the same in basketball, and the same in baseball. I mean, it's already like the best baseball teams anyway.
Yep.
Most of the best football teams. Like, and keep going. Women's basketball, women's softball. Like, you don't have to stop there. You can just keep going with it. I think in a strange way, he knows that like he has more legs to stand on when talking about a breakaway isolated product than anybody else. The Big Ten may make more money. The Big Ten may have bigger alumni bases. They may have all these things that you could say, you know, hey, they're a little bit better, stronger, more lucrative, whatever, than the SEC. I don't think Big Ten only products would survive very long. I think SEC only products, while not as good, would survive just fine. And so I think he knows he can lean on that a little bit and kind of leverage that to some degree. I don't think he wants to see it, though, because I don't think anybody wants to see it, frankly.
Yeah, you mentioned what's best for the sport, Braden Gall, 440 Sports, because I wonder a lot of times, well, are decisions being made on what's best for the sport, and what that even means is up for conversation, I'm sure. But the decisions being made are largely based on revenue generation, right?
I mean, look, the answer is money. Now, what's the question?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's
right.
Unfortunately, that's where we are, and almost all of life. Like I could take that to geopolitics, right? Like Russia's making a lot of money right now, guys. Just want to point that out. I think what's interesting is like the fan doesn't get a say in this. The player doesn't get a say in this. And honestly, those should be the things that we consider the most. Of course, we're not. In a perfect world, what you are basically best case scenario hoping for is, do the moneyed interests align with what is best for all parties involved? And I think like a 2014 playoff to me does not align all of those things. I think a 16-team playoff could conceivably do that. You could conceivably line up what's best for the athlete and what's best for the fan and what's best for the sport and make the most money conceivably in a 16-team tournament where, you know, everybody's included, all 136 teams or whatever the number ends up being moving forward. I think you could figure that out. Would it take some work? Would it take revenue sharing? Would you have to probably have some legal agreements for players? I think you can do that without a breakaway. I think you can do collective bargaining and rev sharing without a breakaway. It's just going to take a lot of lawyers and a lot of people that are willing to do things. And there is a way to do it. And because again, look at like Alabama Clemson championship games, which is both major Southeastern brands. It got stale real fast. Even the Ohio State Alabama championship game. Again, I know COVID was weird, but like that game got really bad ratings, you know, and that people are tired of Alabama Clemson. Like the sport is better for everyone involved when the whole country is engaged. That's just a fact. That's going to make the most money. That's going to draw the biggest eyes and the biggest, you know, television audiences, which is going to then hopefully allow the players to get paid more and allow more fan bases, i.e. the fans, to have more opportunity to root for their team. And so it's not that crazy to see all three things, you know, players, fans, and money all kind of line up with one idea. I think 16 can do it. And that's kind of rare. The Big Ten is kind of standing in the way on that because they've won 3 straight titles and they think right now is their time to like press the issue. And, you know, the Big Ten, like no one's going to watch a Big Ten only football tournament. Like there's like 6 fan bases that care about that. So, I mean, some people like I'll watch, I'm a total, you know, degenerate, but like, it's very rare that all 3 things or all 4 things could align on this. And I think they can, they just can't agree. They can't get there. And unfortunately right now, that's the Big Ten's fault.
Brayton, we've seen a lot of positive responses from folks with the rebrand, with the Titans, man, looking more and more like the Oilers. What's your thoughts on the rebrand? You got the coaching hire, you got some of the moves made in free agency. There's a lot of things going on with the Titans, man. What's your take on some of the moves?
Yeah. Well, so like it's hard. Like I am not a diehard Titans fan, so I wasn't like 10 years old in 1999 when they went to the Super Bowl, and I didn't grow up with the dark two-tone blue and the silver and the Greek mythology and the shields and the swords and I didn't grow up with that, so it's not part of my childhood. So it's easy for me to say. I think objectively these are significantly better uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like personally, I think they are significantly better uniforms. I think I did radio locally in Nashville for years saying, why are there flames on this thumbtack? Why can't we center a logo and make it symmetrical and balanced? And so it's like I'm not an objective observer on this. I think it looks great. I think the uniforms are totally killer. I love the going more focused on the love you blue or two-tone, like whatever color blue you want to call it. I think the uniforms look great. The players love them. Is there as much of a hat tip towards Tennessee and Nashville as they're claiming? Probably not. It's real subtle. It's, dark navy guitar strings on the helmet that you would never know were guitar strings unless you were told that. The word Tennessee on the chest plate, I think, looks really cool. So I think I like that better than having Titans on there. But it's all very subtle, right? The TriStar, I mean, for those of us who are design nerds who really like our state flag and know exactly how they should be tilted in any given situation, they're not tilted properly, right? That's not the way they look on the flag. So even then, the TriStar, which is a hat tip to Tennessee, which is the right thing to do. You should play to your regional audience. You should play to nostalgia. You should play to a new era, which is coming with Cam Ward, the new coach, and the new stadium. Like all of it's very well done. They've done it extremely in a very smart and savvy way. They leaked it. The rollout was great. The event was made for social media. It wasn't made for in person. Like everything they've done to handle this timing wise, absolutely brilliant. And I think the uniforms look great. I am not a diehard Titans fan, so I am not. It may not be fair for me to say, well, I really love that old logo or those old uniforms. I loved when Chris Johnson was playing or when Eddie George was playing. That's the uniform I grew up with, and that's my favorite uniform. I don't have a problem with those people. But here's what's cool, guys. I don't know if you know this, but as a Tennessee alumni, you don't have to wear orange. You could wear white with orange tees. You could wear gray with orange tees. Most of my gear is not orange because I'm a 43-year-old white man who does not look good in bright orange or bright gold for the Predators. And so I buy things that are navy blue for the Predators and white and gray for Tennessee. That's my personal choice. You don't have to buy the new logo. You could wear the old one, guys. And then you're just like a cool retro vintage person at that point. So I think it looks great. I think it's great timing. I think they did a great job of it. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. It's okay.
I feel like you're getting some stuff off your chest before you hop off there, Braden.
He sure is.
I've not been bothered at all by this. Some other media folks have been.
Okay.
But I have not been bothered by this at all. It doesn't faze me at all. But you guys know this. Logos, helmets, uniforms, they drive people bananas.
Yeah.
People go insane for this stuff. And I get it. I understand why. That's why I'm not that kid. I didn't grow up with this stuff, so I don't have a right to be outraged one way or the other, in my opinion. I think they look objectively great. And I think they're extremely recognizable. So when you put on a game, no matter where you are in the country, you're going to know you're watching the top. And so I think that is a huge step in the right direction, number one. And then, again, you know what really helps uniforms look really good, guys?
Winning.
More points on the scoreboard than the other team.
Yep.
So if they win games and Cam Ward is good, no one's going to care. Everyone's going to adopt the new uniform. So.
Yep. And if they don't win, they'll find everything to complain about.
Right.
Uniforms included. Right. Hey, what's going on at 440 Sports for people to check out before you go?
We are inundated with draft coverage, man. It is draft coverage all the way until a couple of weeks until April. So a football show, Paul Karski podcast, Hot Read podcast. We got draft coverage all up and down the dial. 440 Sports YouTube page, social media, podcast app. We got Nashville Predators coverage. We got Nashville SC, still unbeaten, one of the best teams in America right now. So I recommend you checking out the Club and Country podcast, all of our other coverage. 615soccer.com is a great website that we've partnered with. So lots of really good stuff on all your local sports and what's going on in Nashville and the state of Tennessee. So check us out.
440 Sports. Go check them out. Listen, subscribe. We appreciate you as always, Braden. Thanks so much, and we will talk to you again soon.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Braden. Braden Gall joining us on the Stanley Fencing and Gates Hotline. Uniform changes, or just you throw out a uniform opinion, Swain, you're going to get opinions back. So that was guaranteed to happen.
I struck a nerve, didn't
I appreciated
Wow.
Braden's thought.
Man, I didn't think Braden would be so passionate and opinionated about the uniforms. But hey,
but it made me think of when we were talking about the idea of a black jersey, black uniform in 2009, and then after that again, dark mode and the smoky gray startup in the early 2010s. Passionate opinions came out about that.
Yeah, and then people had the idea to do orange and black checker kneeling, which brought another conversation, another opinion to the conversation. So I should have known. I thought the uniforms, I think they look all right, man. I think they look all right.
Best logo in the NFL? What would you say? Best team logo?
I have to think about that one. I do like the Raiders. It's original. It's old school. I don't think the Titans have the best one.
No.
I would have to think about that one. That's you put me on the spot.
Well, I apologize for doing that, and you can think about it. One reason that I brought it up, it's topical based on Braden's thoughts there, but also it's the rare conversation where best and Raiders can end up in the same conversation, so I wanted to at least have a shot there because the Raiders are in the mix for that topic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a top 5 logo. That's for sure. I mean, I like the Bucks logo. I mean, there are some old school ones that I probably wouldn't put in there, like the Packers and the Bears. I wouldn't put either one of those logos there, but
I like the Dolphins.
Yeah, they went through a brand change within I think the last decade or so. Looks a little bit different.
Yeah, their uniform combo, all that. I would go back several years, but logo wise, I like them. But a little biased for the Raiders.
I like
that one would hold up.
I like the Texans logo. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I would have to look at all of them at once to point out like what I think was the best one.
Okay. We might circle back to that, 865-656-9900. If you'd like to hop on board, you can call or text to be part of the show, as we'll have more Tennessee football and hoops talk as well. We have a long time to go. We're with you until 3 o'clock, so plenty of time for you to join us this afternoon as we're presented by Junk Beyond on Josh and Swain. Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Presented by Junk Be Gone. David and Dandridge, not a fan of the new Titans rebrand. Said it looks like a 12-year-old soccer fan designed them. Embarrassing. Nick loves the classic Denver logo. It's a very good one.
With the Bronco coming out of the letter D.
Yeah. Yeah, influential on John Wilkerson becoming a Broncos fan. Fun fact there. And then Brian said, when was the last time you saw the Steelers, Bears, Packers, etc. rebrand?
They don't. They are one of those organizations that don't have to.
Yeah, I like the Steelers logo a lot.
I mean, it's all right.
Okay. I like the Jets logo. Their football team doesn't produce a whole lot of success. Same can be said for my team, the Raiders, but I like their logo.
Yeah, I do. I like the Jets logo.
And then the Bills. I like the Bills too.
Yeah, classic logo, always good. Yeah, that's I guess that's about it for me.
Okay. Falcons? 49ers? You can say no.
I like the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay.
The Ravens logo. I guess I'm a sucker for like a logo with an animal on it. The Dolphins, that old school logo is awesome. Ravens. I like Tampa Bay Buccaneers logo. I like the old school Broncos logo. I like that one.
What about Dallas with the star?
It's just a star, Josh. Don't get your feelings hurt. I know you a Farragut guy.
I waited to bring it up. I didn't want to jump right to it.
No shade towards the Farragut, folks. It is just a star.
Okay.
So it doesn't move the needle for me.
Okay. That's noted. It's noted. Represent something, but we don't need to get into it. 865-656-9900 is how you can be part of the show. Hey, how about this? BetMGM released their top 8 college football and college basketball coaching duos yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm happy that Tennessee is represented on the list. I mean,
Tennessee's number 3.
Yeah, do not get me wrong. I certainly think Tennessee should be on the list, but I don't know about number 5. I mean,
so I'll give you the list quickly. Number 1 is Alabama, Kalen DeBoer and Nate Oates. Number 2 is Houston, Willie Fritz and Kelvin Sampson. Number 3, Josh Heupel and Rick Barnes at Tennessee. Number 4, Dan Lanning and Dana Altman at Oregon. That might be a little high. But number 5, Jeff Brom and Pat Kelsey at Louisville. Number 6, Virginia's Tony Elliott and Ryan Odom. Number 7, Mario Cristobal and Lucas, the basketball coach who had a great first season. And then John Summerall and Todd Golden. How about that? Summerall on the list with Todd Golden, who won the national championship last season.
He ain't coached a game yet.
Summerall?
He hasn't coached a game yet.
It feels a little early.
All I've seen is practice clips of him cussing out his team in practice, and him being afraid to take a picture with an alligator.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I've seen. That's all I'm seeing. I mean, how can we have him on the list already? And Golden won the championship, right?
Mm-hmm. He's actually the only national champion on this list. Kalen DeBoer coached a national championship game. Josh Heupel won one as a quarterback. Cristobal coached in a championship game. But you're trying to find the right combo. I thought Georgia would make the list.
What? No. What?
No?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, Georgia's been
Georgia's in the tournament. And Kirby Smart, you could rank him number 1 among college football coaches.
Oh, this is gonna hurt me, man. Oh man. You know, Vandy deserves to be on the list, right? You know Texas Tech deserved to be on the list, right? And you know Michigan deserves to be on the list too. And I know Kyle Whittingham has to coach a game.
I didn't think about Michigan with Whittingham.
Yeah,
No, Michigan didn't come to mind. Yeah.
yeah, like Whittingham won at a high level at Utah, and then they have Dusty May, who, hello, look what they're doing, #1 seed.
Yeah. And he took FAU on a big run.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sorry, I'm taking Tony Elliott and Ron Odom. I'm taking them off the list and moving them. Maybe Pat Kelsey. I mean, what has Pat Kelsey done? But get blown out by good teams. Now Jeff Brom's good. Don't get me wrong, but you got to have Michigan combo in there. And if we're talking like recent, I mean, how do you not have Vanderbilt in there?
You probably should have Vandy.
Yeah, considering what they're doing right now.
So, the SEC's Coach of the Year.
Yeah. I love Heupel and Barnes on there. I think they deserve to be on the list, 1,000%. And it's hard to argue with DeBoer, Nate Oates. Nate Oates been to the Final Four. DeBoer's coaching the national championship game. Willie Fritz, I don't know about number 2.
High.
That's a little high for me. You know, Sampson coached the national championship game last year against Florida. Willie Fritz, I don't know.
But Tennessee #3, that's a big compliment, having Josh Heupel and Rick Barnes at #3.
It's a huge compliment. I'll take it. I will take it gladly. Hey.
Should there be more appreciation from Big Orange Nation of the coaches, or is there proper appreciation?
I think people appreciate the coaches.
Okay.
I mean, there are some that have lost some confidence in Josh Heupel because of last season. There are some who have become maybe a little bit spoiled by the success and the consistency of Rick Barnes and what he's done. But I think for the most part, there's a ton of appreciation. What you think? I mean,
I think at times there could be more appreciation based on some of the messages we receive or what we see on social media, but that comes from passionate moments. So I'd say overall, yes, I think there is proper appreciation.
And I asked you because you running in those country club circles out there in Farragut. They got the nice golf course, nice country club. So I'm sure you might have heard some different opinions out there.
Yeah, you're right. I put on my sneakers and I go for a long run, and I run right on by those country clubs as they shoo me away to get out of there as quickly as possible. A nice compliment, I think. BetMGM, a somewhat questionable list, but a strong compliment to Tennessee #3, Josh Heupel and Rick Barnes, among the best college football and college basketball coaching duos. Alabama #1, Kalen DeBoer and Nate Oates. Is that correct, by the way? Is that the right #1, or is that too high?
I'm trying to replace. Well, neither one of them have won a championship. So I want to replace them, but it's hard to because one coached the national championship game, but he wasn't the coach of Alabama. And then the other one, he has coached in the Final Four. And so I can't put Tennessee in front of him. I don't know who I can put in front of them as much as I want to. If Michigan goes to the Final Four, then I would put Michigan in front of Alabama. Even with DeBoer coaching a national championship game, I think the body of work, Kyle Whittingham, I would be okay with putting Michigan in front. But I can't do it right now.
It's amazing that Indiana's not on the list because of how bad basketball has been.
They're so bad.
In case they have the bbest football coach in the country. He's certainly one of them in Signetti, but they're not on the list. So interesting conversation. It's also a reminder how few national champions there are among coaches in college football and college basketball, especially on the football side. 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. We are halfway home, a little less than 90 minutes to go on today's show. With Jason Swain, a VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver, I'm Josh Ward on Josh and Swain. It says Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Presented by Junk Be Gone. Chris sent in a suggestion, Swain. We're talking about the best football and basketball coach combinations right now in college sports. Chris said, what about Duke, ACC champions in men's basketball, football, also women's basketball, but Manny Diaz and John Shire?
Yeah,
I think conversation for sure.
You got to put them in the top 10 probably.
Now, this one will sting. Rick sent in a text that said, I think if you go back last year and you added in baseball, we would be number one. I think we might have had this conversation at one point.
Yeah. We have. I mean, if you add baseball, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee would be right there, number one. But I mean, if you were to add baseball and women's basketball, you have to probably look at LSU, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just depends on what sports you're adding, what year it is, or what time of the year it is. But hard to argue with John Shire and Manny Diaz not being on that list too, especially what they're doing. I mean, Duke has had the number one seed the last couple of years, and Manny. It's not like he went to the college football playoff or anything, but hey, he's doing a really good job, and they won the ACC, which I don't know if that's saying much, but he did win it last year.
Yeah, but he's also at Duke. It's not easy to win football games at Duke, or certainly to win an ACC title that he did this past season. So, yeah, I think you would throw them into the conversation. With Duke, by the way, with their continued success with Shire, it's similar to the Packers' quarterback success where they keep finding the next quarterback. Duke has that incredible run with Mike Krzyzewski. Coach K finally retires. So many people around college basketball root against Duke. And then Shire steps in, and they don't skip a beat.
They have not skipped a beat at all. It's really remarkable. But there's kids who grew up that dreamed of playing at Duke. That staff is a staff full of former players, and they've maintained that standard of excellence. And you understand that there's a lot of resources going into that program. So, yeah. They haven't really missed a beat. Coach K's like, dang, at least lose a little bit. Make me look better.
Yeah. I'd probably pick them to win the title if they weren't dealing with a couple of injuries, especially Caleb Foster, the concern there. They still could win it. But I'm leaning Arizona, by the way.
When I saw the bracket, the first thing I saw in the East region was St. John's.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the same side as them, and I just think St. John's playing better. I said this on Sunday on the locker room. I think Rick Pitino's the best coach in the tournament, and they have the shooting. They've always had the defense and the toughness. They showed that last year, but they lost to Arkansas because they couldn't shoot. They can shoot now, and they got a point guard that takes care of the basketball. They are a problem. So I got St. John's beating Duke.
Talk about basketball brands in that East region. Duke, St. John's, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan State, UCLA, UConn, all in that same region.
Yeah, I mean, you reaching to put UCLA in there. That's John Wooden days. They did have a stretch where they went to the Final Four. I want to say twice.
Ben Howland took him there. Yeah,
Ben Howland. That's right. He sure did. So I give you that.
Are you raising your voice at me when I bring up UCLA?
Yes, you did. We're filming here, buddy.
Cameras. Everybody can see you.
Cameras.
We'll come back. 865-656-9900. We are a few days away. We get games tonight and tomorrow, though. The play-in round, including Texas and NC State tonight in the NCAA tournament. We'll come back, inviting you to join us. 865-656-9900 on Josh and Swain. Back on Josh and Swain, final segment of hour number 2. We'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're on 99.1 The Sports Animal, AM 640 The Sports Monster in the Tri-Cities. However you're tuning in today, thank you for being with us with Jason Swain at VFL and former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward, 865-656-9900 to be part of the show. David in Kingsport texted in, Swain, and said, I think we are over-exaggerating the quarterback issue. Not saying it's the same, but I remember Hendon Hooker coming in as the backup to Milton. An injury forced him into the starting lineup. Rest is history, hoping that one of our young quarterbacks surprises a lot of so-called professionals. I don't think anyone had Indiana winning the national championship, especially going undefeated.
We're comparing two experienced quarterbacks to freshmen that's going to be making their college football debut this fall. So I'm confused, Josh.
Well, so what I would say is I do think that it's easy to put too much emphasis on the quarterback position. What I mean by that is, to me, the biggest priority is the Derek Owings impact, the line of scrimmage play, how they perform on the defensive line compared to last year. They need to improve a lot there. And offensive and defensive line combined, I think that's a bigger question mark for me going in, or something that needs to be figured out and proven, more than my concern about Josh Heupel being able to figure out what he's going to do at quarterback. Okay, so quarterback matters a lot. Nobody's going to dispute that, hopefully. But my question about whether quarterback play will work out with Josh Heupel versus what are they going to get from both the offensive and defensive lines, and then the defense overall, you can add that in. I think that, to me, is a bigger priority in getting answers than the quarterback position, because I have a higher floor that I'll probably assign to what the quarterback play will look like.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, quarterbacks are easier to talk about. I mean, that's why it's going to be, and you have to kind of know that going into the offseason. Like, it's going to be talked about a lot because it's easier for people to talk about, rather than talking about Jim Knowles' system and breaking down what he does and the different players. Like, people didn't watch Penn State and watch Kansas State and watch Michigan and watch all these players that transferred in from their respective schools to know how they're going to fit. So we got to wait to see from the orange and white game, which still won't even know, and then from the season. So it's just easier for folks to talk about the quarterback play and the competition. So that's why you're going to get more of it than you are going to get of Derek Owens, because he's not going to sit down with Mike Keith every week and give you an update on the progress made in the weight room, and you're not going to get a breakdown of the defense stuff. So it's just easier to talk about. But I agree, yeah. Like, it's going to be overblown, just like videos from practice in day one and day number two. It's already overanalyzed, and people, trying to break down throw motion and routes and things like that, routes versus air, because it's the only thing that we're getting.
That being said, when we come back, Josh Heupel on what he's looking for from the young quarterbacks this spring, what he wants them to get out of these 15 spring practices, 2 of them already behind them now at this point. Josh Heupel coming up to begin hour number 3. More of your calls and texts at 865-656-9900. Thank you for being with us as we continue, presented by Junk Be Gone on Josh and Swain. Back for the start of hour number 3 of Josh and Swain. Thank you for being with us. We have another hour to go, inviting you to be part of the show. 865-656-9900 is how you can join us. So we ended the last hour, Swain, talking about the quarterback position. And David sent us the text that we are over-exaggerating the quarterback issue. And just to state again, that can almost always be the case. We can over-exaggerate the quarterback issue, but also make a mistake. The quarterback position is very important as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused, because like it's going to be talked about. It's going to be discussed probably more than it needs to be. But that's every quarterback situation and battle. And but like I need him to be a little bit more specific. Like how are we over exaggerating it? Like, you're talking about two guys who are freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a quarterback competition. How's it being over exaggerated? I mean, it's an important position. Like, you are responsible for the football. When David Cutcliffe came back to coach the offense in 2006 and 7 before going on to Duke, we did this thing called winning edge. It's right after we did our stretch, and everyone the offense had to get on a knee with your helmet, and you had to be behind the line. And if you were not behind the line, there were consequences. But it was about the details of doing that. But every day, he would highlight an important statement about the game of football and having that winning edge. And I remember one time he would talk about ball security and how the quarterback and whoever has the ball holds the hopes and dreams of not only your team, but every Tennessee fan in the world. Like, you hold the hopes and dreams. And so ball security was talked about, holding it high and tight, securing it. Well, the quarterback has the ball more than anybody. So how are we going to sit here and say that it's over-exaggerated? He's the most important player on the field.
Yeah.
He's the most important player on the field. Now, when we were having a conversation about Vegas saying that Tennessee total points or total wins at 6.5, I did say Josh Heupel's track record says he does a good job with quarterbacks and making it easier for them and giving them kind of the cheat code. And I think the biggest question will be the defense, will be the impact that Derek Owens is going to make on this football program and the discipline he's going to instill. I don't think quarterback is the biggest question, but that doesn't mean it's not a question. It's still a question.
Right. And it is very important. So yesterday, Josh Heupel, when he met with the media after the first practice, they practiced again today, he talked about what he wants to see from the young quarterbacks and what he wants them to get out of this spring practice. George McIntyre and Faison Brandon, this is Josh Heupel.
You know, they had a good winter with the introduction of some of the things that we're doing offensively. George obviously has more time on task with the general basis of what we're doing. But as those guys have come into the program, you know, gaining an understanding of what we're doing, the communication, you know, how they're calling protections, adjusting protections, our run game rules, being able to control everything that we're doing. And then, you know, starting to master what's going on the back end, the defensive structures as well, and ultimately become a guy that is playing extremely efficiently. Starts with their eyes, being able to see things, work through the progression and the fundamentals and the technique to deliver the ball consistently and accurately. That guy's got to play on edge. He's got to go make plays, but he's also got to take care of the football.
The last part right there, Swain, take care of the football.
Yeah, like, Josh Heupel's offense has been pretty much the same the last couple of years. There's been tweaks, there's been improvements here and there, but like the foundation has been pretty much the same, right? The splits, the tempo, no huddle. We've had different quarterbacks during Josh Heupel's tenure, but the results haven't always been the same. Can we agree?
Yes.
Okay. So you can't sit here and tell me that the quarterback position is not worth talking about more than any other position. It matters that much. So
yeah, it also matters for your goals too. Like if your goal is to win big, then you're going to need really good quarterback play.
Yeah.
Like the previous text referenced Indiana. Well, Indiana won the national championship. You're not winning the national championship without really good quarterback play. They also brought in a veteran transfer in Mendoza, who's now set to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
well, what you do and how much you do depends on how much your quarterback can handle.
Yeah.
Nico, a physical, talented prospect, Josh Heupel could not do everything he wanted to do because Nico wasn't able to handle all of it. Hendon, because of his experience, could handle more. Joe Milton couldn't handle as much as Hendon Hooker could handle. And so we've seen Josh Heupel dating back to his time at Central Florida. He's going to tailor his offense around his quarterback. So the more his quarterback can do, the more that he is going to do. And so there's going to be times when you may have to keep it vanilla because you have a freshman quarterback. As that quarterback gets older and more experienced, he's going to have the leeway to be able to check at the line of scrimmage and change plays. Freshmen don't get a chance to do that. They rarely have that green light to check at the line of scrimmage. So I'm sorry, man. You got to ask any quarterback or anybody that's played offense at this level, that's the most important position in sports. It's the most important position on Tennessee's team. And it may not be the biggest question, but you ain't winning without good quarterback play. It ain't happening. They're not letting you. The game of football has changed. They're not letting you say, all right, you can run the ball 35 times and go play action pass, here and there. The days of A.J. McCarron being able to carry his team to a championship doing less, those days are over. I'm talking about the first championship A.J. McCarron won. Those days are over. Quarterbacks, you got to do stuff too. You got to do stuff. You got to be good.
David did follow up. Would you like me to read?
Oh, please. Please. I like a good old afternoon time story.
Yeah, I'll need to correct an item or two as well. But he said, I don't mean us. I think the media giving us 6.5 wins is disrespectful. To be clear, it was FanDuel. FanDuel put out their win totals on Friday.
Yes, Vegas.
And had, so those are the odds makers.
Yeah.
That put the number at 6.5 for Tennessee. Said if we can win 10 games with freshman Nico, I believe our current quarterbacks are better and we should win 8 to 9 games. If our defense resembles the 24 defense, I think it all depends on our strength and conditioning and defense. I believe our current quarterback are as good as Nico.
No, I wouldn't look at it that way. The schedule is not easy. That schedule was very favorable in 2024. You played a down Florida team. You played an Alabama team that, don't get me wrong, they were talented, but you didn't play against Bryce Young. I mean, the quarterback was terrible in that game, but you did beat them, and not take anything away from us beating Alabama, because I know I won't. I love beating Alabama. But understand that schedule was not that difficult. The same schedule we played last year where Tennessee didn't beat a team with a winning record. So understand that part of the odds makers' logic here of saying Tennessee's total wins will be 6.5, the schedule has something to do with it too. The schedule is a whole lot harder. Now, it's manageable, but I wouldn't look at it that way. I wouldn't say, well, Nico won 10 games. He was a freshman. George is a redshirt freshman. We can do the same thing this year. This defense, I doubt they're going to be as good as 2024 defense. We can't just sneeze and not understand how great that defense was. Were they great all the time in every game? No. But that defense was dang good. And you can match them up with some of the best defenses in Tennessee football history with their numbers and what they were able to do. But that was a dang good defense. You don't just roll out of bed and have a defense that was as good as Tennessee's in 2024.
Yeah, and to the point, I think we should win 8 to 9 games. Look, if you predict 8-4 right now, that's a very fair prediction, in my opinion. That's not getting you to the playoff, so that would be a disappointment for a lot of people. So 8-4, you could get there. If your goal is to get to the playoff, if your goal is to be a 10-win team like the 2024 team, because of what you said, Swain, with the schedule that's coming up and questions that exist on both sides of the ball, there's a lot of work to be done. By the way, Josh Heupel knows that. He knows that it's going to take a lot of work to try to get back to a 10-2 record. To get to 9-3 will take a lot of work with the schedule that Tennessee's about to play this upcoming season. Georgia Tech included in the non-conference, and now 9 conference games in the SEC. 865-656-9900. Mike did say, I personally like blaming the media for anything that doesn't go as planned. Stub my toe on the coffee table. I blame Josh Ward.
Yeah. It's all the media's fault, man.
You media.
You media people putting out that fake news.
Mike also asked, which one of you media members approved of these temperatures the last few days? We're trying to get out of it.
Not over here. I can promise you that, man.
We will come back. Hey, thanks for the interaction. We always look forward to it. 865-656-9900. More Tennessee to cover in the next 45 minutes. Hunter Dickinson, former college star, now as a pro basketball player. Interesting comments he made about his final season at Kansas as a highly paid basketball player at Kansas. Coming up right here on Josh and Swain. This is Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us. Presented by Junk Be Gone. Tennessee baseball this afternoon, 4:15 start time against Eastern Kentucky. We're going to hear some interesting comments from Hunter Dickinson. Just a little perspective from a player in the NIL era. All players have different perspectives, but interesting comments that Hunter made. Former Michigan standout, then transferred to Kansas. The team didn't have a ton of success. He kind of clues us in on why. That coming up in a moment. Before that, we say hello to Terry on Josh and Swain. Terry, thanks for calling in. Good afternoon. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys.
Right, Terry.
So, does anybody remember the picture that the defensive unit put out in the late 90s when Fulmer was still coaching around the championship era, when that they were in the weight room and they just did a workout and there was about 20 of them in there, and they didn't necessarily post it on social media only because my dad actually knew a player back then, but it was a picture of the defensive line, and they had just did a workout. And look, y'all were talking about the influence of Derek Owens. That picture, when you looked at these boys, you're talking, 250 to 300 and something pounds. They look like weight bodybuilders. You could see their abs, look like they had been doing cardio for days. I know that it's a lot easier back in the day to hide your test results in a toilet paper roll, but I know for sure that these boys used to get in there and hit it hard. But now, about 6 or 7 years ago, there was another picture that came out that another Tennessee defensive unit put out, and they remade the picture, kind of recreated the moment. When you saw these boys, man, they're not overweight, but yeah, honestly, they probably are, because obesity runs high in a lot of NFL players, and that just comes with it. But these dudes, look, you couldn't see their abs. You could barely see their chest muscles or anything. You remember the strength coach from Northwestern? Had anybody ever seen him, the guy that would come out there with no shirt on, or he had the big guns when it's really cold and stuff, had a mustache and goatee? I hope Derek Owens comes in and kind of has an effect like that on UT, to where, these boys look a lot more fit, get a lot faster, because we looked really slow last year.
Oh, 100%. Definitely was slow, man. Diego Pavia was looking around, waiting on somebody to catch him. No one could. So, yeah,
I'd like to see these boys' abs, get them in there, get them running on the treadmill, not just running in practice or whatever. I know they have to bank certain hours in the weight room over there, but still, I mean, those dudes back in the day, like in that era, they were ripped. You could tell. They rode the bike, they got out and ran, everything. I've seen that Owens guy. He looks pretty ripped up himself, so hopefully it has a really good influence like that, because I know they eat pretty much kind of whatever they want, but you can't necessarily do that. You can still eat a lot of food, but you can't always eat what you want and stay fit.
Yeah, you want to eat the right foods. Derek Owens is working on that. So, hey, Terry, thanks a lot for the call, Swain. No doubt, Tennessee needs to continue making changes, because they've already started that process with Derek Owens coming in. You were a part of that in the 2000s. You were in those pictures too. There may have just been some defensive photos, but you did the whole team workout photo. So
You were in some of those too.
Yeah, those photos were posters they call Men of Summer posters. And that's what happened when you eat well and you train well. You get abs. And I could promise you we didn't ride any bikes or run on a treadmill. That was running them 110s and running half gassers and lifting and lifting with a plan, not just going out just bench pressing and squatting like it was scientifically motivated and backed. And so I can also promise you these guys on this team are not eating what they want. I mean, if you're going to eat in Smokies, which is the dining room for the athletes down there at the bottom of the complex, like you're going to eat what they serve, and it's not going to be what you want. So, and this is something Derek Owens has talked about, in the last couple of weeks, their plan and how important it is to eat the right things. If you want to sneak off and eat some stuff that you don't want to eat, you can do that, but it's going to show up when you weigh in the next day. And so, NFL level, it ain't much obesity in the NFL because guys are being fined $500 to $1,000 per pound if you come in out of shape or you come in overweight. So it is a business, and you are treated like a professional athlete. And if you are overweight, your pockets will suffer. So, yeah, nutrition is a big part of it. And I'm pretty sure we'll see some before after pictures coming up here in the next couple of months of all the gains that our guys have made.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to still try to sneak in a bad diet with Derek Owings, you're gonna have a difficult time hiding it, I would say. So that is part of their focus. This might be difficult for some fans to stomach when they hear these comments, but I thought they were interesting. Hunter Dickinson was a guest on a podcast recently. He's a former standout at Kansas. He was a really good college player. They didn't have a ton of team success, though, after he transferred there, especially by Kansas standards. He played at Michigan. He was a part of the Michigan team that beat Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. But he was talking about how difficult last season was, especially with the high expectations with Kansas basketball. This was on the Run Your Race podcast. Listen to Hunter Dickinson talking about last year with the Jayhawks.
I mean, obviously, again, like they expect greatness. But the team was just like, bro, like, we didn't even feel like we had support. Like, and it's never as bad as it seems. Like, we had great support. Like, Allen was always rocking, and like, we had a ton of fans that were supporting us. But we also had like a ton of people who were just hating. Like, we would always make the joke after we win a game. You'd go on Instagram and see how many comments we had.
Yeah.
It'd be like 30, 40 Instagram comments saying, and some of those would even be like, thank God. We won. Yeah, we won a game. What they do? On a loss, we would have like 500 comments. So just like
going in.
Yeah. And it's just like, and so for me, like, it got to a point where I was like, I didn't like playing.
Yeah.
Like, we would come to the gym and it would feel such like a job. Like, the games got to a point where it's like, bro, I don't even want to like play right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like one of the ones that handled it better. Like, so you can only imagine how some of the dudes are feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and you the one averaging 18 and 11. So I can only imagine, bro. I can only imagine.
And so it just got so bad to a point where like dudes were just like, yo, they were through with it.
Yeah.
They were just like through with it. They were like, yo, just hurry up and have this. Like, obviously it was my last year. So like, I'm like, yo, we gotta try to fix it. Like,
find a way.
I was trying my way, but some dudes are just like, get me out of here, bro. Ready to hit the portal again.
So, Swain, that was Hunter Dickinson talking about last year at Kansas. Felt like a job. I would say to that part, it is a job. You're getting paid, in this case, a lot of money. So it shouldn't feel like a job. It should be treated as a job. But some of the stuff he said also, there's probably truth to that. You can feel the hatred on social media, especially from a fan base. You have to work to stay away from that if that's something that bothers you. But what do you think from those comments, Hunter Dickinson talking about his last year at Kansas?
Why did Hunter Dickinson pick Kansas? You remember? I remember his comments when he left Michigan, when he kept it real.
I do remember his comments. Yep. I do remember his comments. He referenced the lack of money he was being paid at Michigan, and he wanted to make more somewhere else. And he even said at the time that for the people that were hating on his decision, they would make the same decision with their job. That was the word he used, job, if they had the same financial opportunity.
Correct. And didn't he fight to get another year? Eligibility, right? Because I remember him coming back his last year, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's back again?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get that paycheck, which, hey, we all want that paycheck. He cleaned it up at the end, boy. Ooh, he was careful because he said, I was a senior, and, they were just ready for it to be over. Because at first, I was like, man, he sure is telling on himself. But he cleaned it up at the end and said they. And if I was they, meaning a teammate on his team, I don't know how I feel about Hunter Dickinson out here dry snitching the way that he is. These podcasts, it's great for the consumer, right? But boy, you get these people in the front of a microphone, They are singing and telling all the business in the locker room, and I don't know how the Kansas folks will feel about that. He is a guy that transferred from Michigan to Kansas. I don't know what school he's going to go back to and, have those reunions and things like that. But I can only imagine some folks that play with him in Kansas will look at him sideways for this admission. And my advice would be, hey, if social media stuff is going to bother you, don't look at it.
Yeah.
And it is a job. You're getting paid to perform a service. It is a job. And so this is why you have certain cases of people with a lot of money, millionaires, who are not happy because they're not fulfilled. And that's what it sounds like here with Hunter Dickinson. He made more money at Kansas. He was playing at Kansas, one of the most prestigious universities in the country when it comes to basketball. Rich history. Fan base is amazing. They always pack the place out. But he wasn't happy, it sounded like. He wasn't happy. Sounds like he was happier when he's making less money in Michigan. And so I think this is a lesson about sometimes more money is not good money. Sometimes more can be less in terms of your happiness. And so I thought it was a weird podcast coming from him. But I'm pretty sure it's going to do some numbers because it's juicy.
Yeah, and he was a guy during his college career, I don't think he had the best self-awareness, and that appears to have carried over. He's on a two-way contract, I think, with the Pelicans in the NBA G League. But yeah, I would be, if I'm a coach, I'm watching that, and I'm making sure players in the future know, hey, you have to treat this like it's a job. It is a job. You're being paid. Fans are, if you're at a big-time school, fans are going to care, and they are going to voice their opinions. If that's something that affects you, you have to learn to avoid it or to deal with it. But the fact that Hunter Dickinson's 25 years old, by the way, he's not. Yeah, if he's a 19, 20-year-old and he's experiencing those feelings and he's surprised by it and he's trying to learn through it, then I get it. But he's 25 years old and still has that perspective. That's what probably surprised me the most. Felt like a job. It was a job, a highly paid job.
And you know what's also bad about these comments? It's the timing. Who's the best player on Kansas team right now?
Yeah, Darren Peterson, who is a potential number one pick, who's had kind of an up and down season based on being in and out of the lineup during games.
You think he's making a lot of money?
A lot of money.
And look how he's playing. He's playing like he doesn't enjoy basketball. And then Hunter Dickinson comes out with these statements.
Yeah,
this is terrible timing for
Kansas fans have to be beside themselves.
Oh yeah, they probably saying to themselves or out loud, Hunter, shut your face, man. This is not the time for this.
Yep. I remember watching that Kansas-Arkansas game in the tournament last year. That was a rough watch. Arkansas knocked them out, and listening to those comments, not a surprise at all. So interesting comments. You're right. It's going to do some numbers, and I'll bet it's done a lot of numbers with Kansas fans. We'll continue the conversation. We have an attaboy to hand out coming up, one we're very excited to hand out in just a few minutes. We're with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Jason Swain's here, a VFL, former Tennessee wide receiver. I'm Josh Ward. This is Josh and Swain. Thanks for being with us on Josh and Swain, presented by Junk Be Gone, junkbegone.biz. Apval texted in from our conversation last segment, Swain. Didn't Rick tell Chaz Lanier last year we need you to do what we paid you to do?
He sure
yes.
did.
Shoot the basketball. Yeah, he did not hide it.
That was great. Yep. That was great. Yeah, we need you to shoot the basketball. That's what we're paying you to do. So it was a job, Hunter Dickerson, the whole time. That's probably why I felt like one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what the money's for.
Exactly. Oh boy. But yes. Hey, but they was ready for the season to be over, right?
Yeah, but not Hunter at the end, no.
Not Hunter, because he was a senior and all. They was ready for the season to be over.
Yeah. By the way, pull up the tape of that Arkansas game. I could challenge the they part, like a we. But anyway, that's Kansas last season. We are looking forward. But right now, we hand out today's Attaboy. So we hand out attaboys and attagirls every day, positive stories, those who accomplish big things, those who do good things in the real world every single day. And this is one we hand out an attaboy to somebody we love talking about, and I know you do, Swain, because you played for him. David Cutcliffe, the SEC announced earlier today that he will retire effective March 31st. He had an incredible career as a coach. He has served as the Southeastern Conference's special assistant to the Commissioner for Football Relations since 2022. After he left Duke, he was a terrific coach, a terrific leader. You could speak more to what he meant than I can because you played for him in 2006.
Yeah, Coach Cutcliffe changed my life, man. And, I still operate and do things that I do now in life based on the things I learned from him. How your word means something. When you say you're gonna do it, you do it. I've said on this program when I met him for the first time, I was about to be a senior. I was a junior academically because it was during the spring, but the upcoming year I was going to be my senior year. And so I remember he was in his office, hadn't unpacked or anything, but I went up there, introduced myself, and I was like, hey, Coach, what do you need from me? Because I'm about to be a senior, and I can't feel how I felt in 05. So what do you need from me? And all he said was, say what you mean what you say. I was like, oh, okay, Coach. That was it. And I didn't understand what he meant at the time, but I understand what it meant now and how important that is and how strong those words were. And I saw Coach Cut in Nashville at the Muse City Bowl, inside the hotel or Mini City. And, Chris was there, his son who coaches Oxford High School, Marcus was there. And, man, Chris got so many kids running around. I thought we lost a few of them. But, for Coach Cut, it's time. It's time. Him and Karen, the biggest MVP, wife of a college coach. They sacrifice so much for their husbands to be able to live out their dreams. And it's time for David and Karen Cutcliffe to spend time with those grandbabies and do things that they maybe always wanted to do but didn't have time to because of football. Man, he's such a great ambassador for the game of football, for quarterback play. I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. And, man, he changed my life. So congratulations, Coach Cut. You deserve the world. And he contributed so much to the University of Tennessee. There's shades of Coach Cutcliffe on this staff as we speak, because of how he operated and with integrity and, his coaches, he treated them, with respect. And we got some of those coaches on our staff right now. So I can talk all day about Coach Cut, but I know our segments won't allow me to do that.
Yeah, Jim Knowles, when he did that first sit down with Mike Keith multiple times during that interview, referenced David Cutcliffe, having worked with him, worked for him. So,
Yep.
an attaboy today to David Cutcliffe. The SEC announced earlier today he will retire effective at the end of the month, ending a remarkable 40-year career in college football. A big attaboy today to David Cutcliffe. We have one segment to go on today's show. We'll come back. Final thoughts at 865-656-9900 when we return here on Josh and Swain. Back for the final segment of Josh and Swain. Thank you for hanging out with us today. You can find our show anywhere you get your podcasts. So if you want to search in Apple or Spotify in the podcast section of the WNML app, would love for you to subscribe or follow. Thanks for tuning in however you do so, on the radio, streaming live, or listening on demand. We always appreciate you tuning in and always look forward to the interaction on the show. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We'll have some games to react to tonight, as there are a couple of NCAA tournament games. Texas, NC State, notable in an 11-seed matchup. And then we'll have an SMU, Miami, Ohio game to look forward to tomorrow night, with the winner of that game taking on Tennessee on Friday. Swain, a happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. Hadn't mentioned that to you on the show.
Oh, well, thanks, man. You too.
You want a fact about Ireland?
Sure.
I saw earlier today that the capital of Ireland has been growing tremendously. In fact, I read that it's Dublin.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one right there, man. That's a good one. I like that
Like
one.
that one?
I like that one. I like that one.
Thank you.
Is that green you wearing? Does that count as green?
No, this is a blue, but it's in the blue green.
That should count. Listen, I'm too old. Don't be pinching me, man. Leave me alone.
My kids came home last night very concerned, making sure that they would have some green on somewhere today because they were gonna get pinched today. They didn't want that.
Yeah, my kids too. We gotta wear green, Daddy. You ain't wearing green? Pinch me and see what happens. Oh man.
Yeah. If you're a pincher, be careful. Don't pinch the wrong person.
I miss being a kid and worrying about wearing green so I don't get pinched instead of bills and all this other stuff us grown-ups have to worry about now.
You were right about that. Well, here's something else to remember. Remember, you're not supposed to iron a 4-leaf clover. You know why?
No.
Because you don't want to press your luck.
Okay. All right.
That was from the text box. So we say thank you in the text box.
Thank you. It was good.
It was very good.
It was very good. It was very good. No doubt about it. Don't want
Swain,
to pressure luck.
I cannot read exactly what Matt Leinart said to USC officials. Did you see this story? Matt Leinart on the Throwbacks podcast that he is a part of. So he has his number retired at USC. He won the Heisman Trophy, won national championships there, and he had his jersey retired. I would say deservedly so. The number 11 is retired. He said multiple times people at USC have asked him if he would unretire his jersey for some 5-star prospect. Leinart said, quote, "And do you know what? Do you want to know what I told those guys straight up? I said, absolutely bleeping not. I'm never going to unretire my jersey for some random dude who, by the way, now could wear number 11 and transfer after a year."
He's right.
He is right. That
shows
that's kind of insane that they're doing that at USC.
That shows you how out of touch the people who are there at USC really, really are, man. Lincoln Riley and company, that's disgraceful. That's disgraceful. But we will ask Peyton Manning to unretire 16 for Marshall, though, in a couple years.
Can Marshall get a Manning exemption? Because it would still be Manning wearing the 16, right?
That's true.
I recall you asking Chris Lofton, hey, if a recruit wants to wear the number 5, you let him wear it? Can they wear it? He said, no, they cannot.
No, they cannot. He put in work to.
That's right, which is the correct answer. It's a retired number. That means it's not going to be worn again.
Yep. Find a different number.
So good on Matt Leinart. And according to him, they've asked multiple times. So I guess the first time wasn't good enough.
Well, I guess the first time he didn't use profanity.
Yeah.
And he had to the second time because obviously they didn't understand the first time.
That's right. So I stand with Matt Leinart on that one,
Yeah,
and that,
me too.
maybe that does tell us a little bit more about why USC has not been able to get back to the top.
Yeah, you never unretire a jersey number, especially today's climate of college sports, unless it's Marshall Manning.
Man, you're not ready. I'm not ready. Nobody's ready
Nope.
for the Marshall Manning recruitment and just everything that will come with it over the next 4 years.
I'm not ready at all.
But the Manning family, they will do everything they can to help him be ready. Swain, it's been a lot of fun. We will try again tomorrow at noon.
Let's do it, man.
Joel Silverberg producing. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow at noon, presented by Junk Beyond here on Josh and Swain.